All right, we're live. Welcome in, everybody. The Gentleman's Code, episode 18. Appreciate you guys all being here. I'm Bobby Neishman. This is Priamo Persichetti. Welcome you guys into the Gentleman's Code. We got a little bit of a different episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the Gentleman's Garage. So we're going to be talking about cars, little mechanical stuff, our dream cars, daily drivers, just some education on some cars because it's so important, right? Everybody has a car, everybody drives stuff, but it's something that reflects onto the outside world. It's something that it makes you look different to people sometimes, right? If you have a beater, people are going to think about you different, even though you might be a totally competent professional, but you show up to work in your 2006 Nissan Altima, they're going to be like, is that guy doing anything on the side? Why is he driving a 2006 Nissan Altima? But then you
Yeah, he's a bumbleclot.
but then you show up in your 2024 Benzo, and they're like, "Oh, he must have a job outside of this. He must be in the Taylor's code." So we're gonna be talking about some stuff like that and how you guys could look professional. But I'm gonna toss over to Priyama before that.
Beautiful. What's going on, Bobby? Yeah, so we got, you know, like Bobby was saying, a car is very important for a gentleman because it is quite literally it's the image that you're going to project out into the world of yourself, right? Like you said, if you're driving around a beat or a hoopty, a piece of shit, you pull up to the cigar lounge and the honey see you, they're going to be thinking, can this guy even get a cigar here? The gentlemen are going to be looking at looking at you like they want to do business with you. So I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I believe that having a good car, a good something that builds you up and builds up your persona is very important as soon as you can afford it because the amount of business that you're going to be able to attract because of that and the confidence that you're going to gain from it is going to be worthwhile the money that you put into it. So people say, "Oh, car's a depreciating asset. You shouldn't get a really nice car." Blah blah. Blah. Yeah, but those people don't understand what a nice car does for you, what a nice car does for your business. These are all things that are investments into yourselves, especially in today's world with social media and having to build personal brands and that being a part of your business. That car will go a long way. People see the nice car, the watches, the houses. Yeah, don't get to the point where you're losing all your money just because you're trying to keep up a certain type of image. But that helps your business because once people see you're having success, they're going to be a lot more willing to do business with you. It's just a momentum, a perpetual thing that happens. Like the more successful you look and that you are, the more people want to do business with you, right?
And just we could start there. I guess we could start there on just like the financing of cars, right? I don't want you to think that getting a nice car is super expensive and it's unaffordable for everyone because there's a lot of good cars out there in today's day for pretty cheap. You could get a 2020 Mercedes, maybe if you're, because I like the S class, right? We'll talk about our cars later, what we like, but for like a daily driver, what I would want in the future for just a daily driver would be a nice S class S550. And as opposed to getting the brand new 2025, that it's incremental changes, right? It's things that they just bump up specs. They make it in better eco. They make the leather a little nicer each year. It's stuff like that. If you go back and like Primo said, some people say this all the time, cars are depreciating assets. If you go back only 4 to 5 years, you're still gonna get a 2020 car, which at the time in 2020 I was like, damn, these cars are sick, right? But you're
Bangers.
going to
Yep.
get it almost 50% off. You're going to get a car with maybe 30 to 50,000 miles on it, but you're going to get the sticker price probably more than 50% off for some of these cars. So you don't have to break the bank to get a nice car. There's lots of nice cars out there. I know people are big into BMWs and Porsches and all those cars, and you could get those at a very good discounted price. If you just look for the right year and the right model, things are affordable.
Right. Yeah, because there's a depreciation curve that you can see on some websites whenever you look at used cars. Yeah, at the beginning, once you're just starting to make money, just starting to become successful, you don't need to go to fucking Ferrari and try to build or get an allocation to the newest Ferrari, which obviously you're not going to be able to anyways. But that's not the idea. If you just go back a couple of years, like myself, whenever I bought the first car I ever bought, just so you guys know, the first car I ever bought was the GT53, the AMG. First car I ever bought. Number one, because I never wanted to own a car that I wasn't proud to be in, and that was going to cause me. I never wanted to be in a car that would cause me more problems than it did, benefit me. Right? Some people just go so fucking cheap. They want to get a $2,000, 200,000 mile Toyota Civic or whatever the fuck. I don't
And it
even know what
comes
they are.
back to
Honda
bite
Civic.
them because then all the money they put into that car, they could have bought something nicer in the beginning.
Yeah, and then they're in the shop all the time. Their car's breaking down. Oh, come pick me up. I'm on the side of the road. Yeah, I've never been that guy. I've only been driving around in class. But the what was the point I was making with the car? That I completely forgot the point I was making with the car. But anyways, that was the first car that I had ever bought, right? And I didn't buy it brand new. The car that I bought was MSRP when it first came off the lot or it came off the production line was about 125,000 dollars. I got it 2 years old, okay, because at the time it was 2023 when I bought it. It was a 2021. It's a 2021. I bought it for sub 90 grand, right? So most of the major part of the depreciation had already happened in those first couple of years. By the time that I got it, 82,000 I paid for it, I believe was the number on the actual form. So it's not bad. It's not bad. I didn't get destroyed on it. So, and now, I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna keep it. I'm not gonna actually just sell. I'll keep it as a daily driver for whenever I get the Ferrari or the Lamborghini. But the point is that yeah, you don't have to go balls to the wall The with the number first on whip. Get something that's a couple of years old. Get
Hmm.
a banger. Start building up the fleet, and then once you're really rolling in it, you're making a couple mil a year. You want to go boom, cash out on a Ferrari. Then yeah, go cash out on a Ferrari
Patience is definitely key when buying a car. I see a lot of people get antsy. They have the money for the car, but interest rates might be a little higher. Not to say that interest rates are ever going to be a perfect time to buy because over the past year we've seen interest rates go up to like 10 like I mean if you're dealing in the car market probably up to like 10, 9, 8%. But even if you bought a car in the beginning of 2024 like I said, is 7, 8, 9, 10%. And even if you wait until now, what have we seen the Fed do? They've dropped interest rates, and you've seen this stuff kind of come down a little bit. So you're probably maybe looking at like a 5, 6, 7% interest rate now, which is going to save you a couple $100 on your monthly payment. So there's always ways to kind of finesse the system in the car game, and there's a lot that we could talk about with that. So that's why we're going to talk about cars today for the Gentleman's Code.
for sure. And just a little piece of alpha for those of you in the US. Don't finance through the dealership. Okay. So I see some guys get hustled. They'll go into the dealership and the salesman will try to hit them with you know, this amazing monthly payment, this amazing, 20-year term on your car. Some people are walking out of the dealership with like a fucking mortgage for their car. And yeah, you don't do that. Don't do financing through the dealership. If you can't get approved with your local credit union, so this is the alpha. You guys want to open up an account with your local credit union, okay? If you're going to finance a car at the beginning, make sure you have good credit and get your loan through the credit union. Get approved through your credit union. So this is the finesse that you want to do for cars because two things you can do with that. Number one, obviously you're going to get a much, 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 much more competitive interest rate through your credit union. Okay, that's the whole point of a credit union. Or number two, if you get approved for the loan through your credit union on a car that you want to buy, you can take that interest rate into the dealership and let them know what you got and see if they're able to beat that for you. Because a lot of times what the dealerships want to do is because they're going to make a lot of money through the financing, they're going to just do their best to beat your rate just so that they can get your business as opposed to the credit union. Excuse me. So that's a piece of alpha. You want to walk in there prepared with that. If you have the credit union loan, you got game because now you have leverage. Now you can use that as a way to negotiate a lower price and a lower interest rate off of your loan with the dealership, if that makes sense. But yeah, go through your credit unions. You want to open up a credit union account, start to stack up in there, start to build up a reputation with that credit union before you go buy that first banger so that you can set yourself nicely with that payment.
Yeah, 100%. And the local credit unions are very good. When I was looking in and out of Mercedes, there's tons of different credit unions that are local. And here in Florida, there's a few. There's Grow. I think Grow Financial might actually be um, nationwide, but there's a Suncoast. So we're shopping around, making sure that we had the best deal. So then when we did go back into Mercedes, like you said, Mercedes. And here's the thing, like these car dealerships, they know what the credit unions are charging because they have their own financial institution, which they're going to be charging rates. So they could see what everything is charging. They just want to make more money. So definitely shop out your loans, your credit unions, and see where you can get the best available price because it's going to save you a lot of money in the long term. Why pay $80,000 for a car when you could actually pay 65 over the life of the car? So depending on the years, it's going to save you money, which is great.
For sure. All right, so let's talk about a couple of the stream keeps freezing. That's what I'm saying. My fucking stream is it's getting smoked. Drop frames detected. Well, forget it. I'll figure
Easy
it out
monthly
afterwards.
payment.
But if your stream's still
Yeah,
good, you should be fine.
yeah, it's still going. I got it up on mine.
So yeah, at least you'll have the good episode. So okay, let's start with a couple of different types of whips for the gentleman. So you were talking about S550. That's obviously a classy, get driven around in, luxury, big body presidential sedan. So when we're talking daily drivers for the gentleman, what are your top picks? What are the cars that you're looking at for dailies? Some luxury.
Yeah, so daily drivers I think kind of fall into two categories for me. Obviously the big SUVs. Well, I'm not gonna say big SUVs, right? SUVs in general are good daily drivers because if you're up in Pennsylvania in the snow, you need something big. You need four-wheel drive. You need something that's gonna throw the groceries in, throw some stuff in the trunk, and then you could get on your day and go. But then there's also cars. So I like the S550. Mercedes. I like the new Range Rover Sports. If I'm going to do an SUV, those are classy. I really like the look of those.
Hmm.
And what I like about, like you said, that the S550, it's that classy. It's elegant. It's the interior is beautiful, but it's not like it's still a sports car in its heart. It's got that big Mercedes engine in it, but it's not that rah, like down the street. Like that's when I say like a daily
You don't
driver.
do that. Don't do
I'm looking
financing
for
through the
something
dealership. If you
that
can't get a
is not. I'm looking for something that's not like that. That's not going to be
right,
screaming down the street. I'm looking for something quiet, get you to work in the morning, nice and peacefully, but get you there in one piece.
right.
So just one more car, daily driver as well. I like the new the big body BMWs. I believe they're the 580 Qs or something like that. Is it the
The,
580?
so I know that the new 7 Series came out. You talking about the new 7 Series that
Yes,
look
it might
like
be
a
the. Yeah, the ones that look like a Rolls Royce.
exactly, yeah, it's a 7 Series.
Okay, got it. Yes, the new 7 Series, the i7. I really like those as well. That's another classy luxury driver.
So, I'm laughing because I think the stream was fucked up because I was in Mexico. So I was a part of VPN Nation, and this time I was located in Mexico. So I think that's why the stream was freezing because I just quickly teleported over to New Jersey, and everything looks to be good now. So I'm in New Jersey now, guys.
New Jersey.
Those 7 Series BMWs are classy though. I like them. Me personally, I'm not a BMW guy. I wouldn't buy one myself, but the 7 Series are definitely bangers. Those are bangers. So, in terms of a luxury sedan, if I'm looking for a cruiser, I'm sticking with Mercedes. Yeah,
Hmm.
I like the S class. I like the Maybachs. I just when we were in Arizona, I test drove the dealership that I go to for my GT. They sent me an invitation to test drive a limited edition Maybach they had at the dealership, and that thing is a fucking. So here's the thing. I would never buy a Maybach as just if that was my one or one of the two cars I had because it's just not you literally need to be driven around in it.
Hmm.
Right? When so people would say, "Oh, that's a car you got to get driven around in." I mean, literally, you don't buy that car unless you're being driven around in it. Because I have videos and posts I put up of me in the Maybach and the sales guy, he's driving and I'm in the back fucking sprawled out.
The
Come
back
on.
seat's nicer than the front.
Oh my goodness,
Cooler.
class. Yeah, I got the champagne cooler, boom, I'm busting it out. I'm taking a sip of a Pellegrino out of the champagne glass because I don't drink booze. And then I got the driver up front, etc. Yeah, that's good. If you have it as like the third or fourth whip for date night, you get the girls, you get your honey. You guys are in the back having a little sip of wine. You get your driver. That's cool. But I
Hmm.
would just never have it for a daily driver. As my only car. What else are the luxury sedans that I like? Rolls Royce are obviously beautiful. I would probably do it would either be the Maybach or a Phantom would be my big body, luxury. Okay, I want to ride around presidential.
What do you like Audi? What do you like anything that Audi? I like the A5. That's kind of just that's like a that's just like a regular. That's nothing special, nothing luxury. But the A5s, I think they're nice.
So the the thing with Audi is I do love them, and when you're inside of them, they're very sleek and clean.
Hmm.
The only thing, so for me, between Audi, Mercedes, and BMW, I have Mercedes is number one, Audi two, BMW three. So I do really like the Audis, but the thing is if I could have one or the other, I'd choose the Mercedes.
I agree.
Yeah, because I've been in A8s, I've been in A8Ls, I've been in them. They're great, but it's just for me, the interior is a little bit too bland. It's just there's not enough going on with the Mercedes. Even in my GT, right? It's not a luxury sedan; it's a fucking sports car. But the interior is so classy. I mean, you get the ambient lighting every single time a honey gets into the GT. You know, I got that purple going, the purple ambient lighting,
The Mercedes
real
just hits
low.
different.
Oh, it's class. And then the honeys love every single time they met. Oh, that purple's nice. Yeah, baby, I put it on for you. They love that royal purple. And so yeah, so for me, it's just Mercedes. I love Mercedes. The sound system too. Whenever you get the upgraded sound system, the
Hmm.
Burmester sound system, boom, banger. I'm playing Roddy Rich in there. I'm playing a little TJ. Can't fuck with me when I'm driving around.
So I when I first started answering that question, I mentioned like the SUV side of it, and I said Range Rover Sport is cream of the crop when it comes to that. But also, I think the American companies do SUVs very well. So your Chevy Suburbans, your Chevy Tahoes, and your Lincoln Navigators, your Cadillac Escalades, even your Ford Explorers are like top of the line $100,000 cars now. So those are all, if you have a family, if you gotta tow people around, maybe you're going out with the squad, you and the guys are going out, everybody pile into the truck and then you head out to dinner because you can't fit everybody in a sports car as nice as they are. Everyone's going to be crammed in the back of the two-seater. So if you and the squad are going out, you want something a little more space and a little more luxury too. I like the Cadillac Escalades, are beautiful in 2025s, and then the Chevy Tahoes would be my top pick for an
Mhm.
SUV. So that's just a different type of ride you're going to go out
Yeah.
in.
So no surprise, my favorite SUVs are the GLE 63 AMGs. The
Mm,
GLEs are because I always see them at the dealership whenever I get the car serviced,
yep.
and every time that's the one I gravitate towards. The GLE is just the perfect mix in size because the GLS is more like the fucking S class. It's just big body
Yeah.
luxury, which is
Mm,
nice. The GLC is just too small for me. It's a little bit too, a little too, pussy. But GLE is that nice mix in between.
yep.
It's large enough, but it's still more sports geared towards that sports vibe. The interior is beautiful. It's got yeah, the GLEs are bangers. I love the
The
GLEs.
GLEs look different than any Mercedes in the back end too. It has like that bubble. It's like a bubble in the back. It's rounded.
Yeah, I think they look amazing. Every time I see them at the dealership, they're beautiful. So that would be my SUV pick. Would be a GLE, and then now we're talking sports cars, right? So let's go daily sports car that you can daily, right? So now you're feeling like going on a weekend drive, you want to
Mm.
go into work a little bit quick, you're trying to beat the traffic if you guys are working at the office. You want to zip through. What's the daily sports car that you're ripping?
Well, my top pick is I don't know if it'd really be a daily. Um, would be the Huracan Lambo, but I don't know if you classify that as a daily. Probably not, but
You could.
you
You could
could.
daily an
Okay,
Evo. Yeah,
yeah,
you could daily an Evo.
okay. Then yeah, it would be that. But my second choice would be if someone said to me, "Oh, you can't. That's not a daily driver." I'd probably say
I'd slap him in the face and say, "Fuck you.
I'd
I could
probably
daily
say
this."
the Vet, the C8 Vet. I think that's just a clean car that it could get you point A to point B wherever you want to go daily. And I see a lot of people drive those daily. Wouldn't be my top choice. Like I said, it'd probably be the Lambo, uh, the Huracan, but I don't think the C8 even comes close to the Lambo. So
The C8, that's what Logan had. So he had the C8 in AZ, and we would go ripping on the weekends and shit. He dailied that, and it was completely fine.
Yep.
Yeah, the C8's for sure you can daily that. C8's a banger. The V8 naturally aspirated engine sounds fantastic.
Yep.
Rips fast as hell. He would smoke me off the line in the GT. He would smoke me in the C8.
Yeah, the way they built those new C8s was just crazy. They completely changed the whole Corvette line moving forward and put the engine in the back, obviously, to compete with the foreign sports cars, and it people loved it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was never a Corvette fan. I never thought they looked like anything special or was very impressed by them. The C8, classy. The
Hmm.
look is different. It looks European. It looks fast. It looks menacing. It's just a way more attractive sports car, the C8. So that was cool. I only drove. Did Logan ever let me fucking drive that?
He did,
I think
did
he let
he
me
uh,
drive.
did he get rid of that when he got the Jeep?
Yeah, yeah. So he got rid of that for the Jeep because now he's in Pittsburgh. So the C8's probably not the best for the wintertime.
So hilly in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. It's not a great car to have.
Nah, not during the wintertime. You're gonna be fucked. So the C8's a good daily for me. Daily sports car. I mean, you basically had already said it. So I would do Evo because that's literally I'm between the Evo or the 488 or the F8 or
Hmm.
the 812. Now, that's what I'm between in terms of buying. But could I daily an 812 super fast? I found out when I went to go test drive the first one that probably not. Okay. Because I almost banged out the 812 when I went to test drive it at the dealership that I bought my GT at. I test drove it and I'm in there with the car salesman. And I've never driven an 812 before. So it's a V12, naturally aspirated engine. Probably what, 800, 700 horsepower. I'm coming around a turn, one of the last turns on the test drive, and he's like, "Hey, open it up a little bit, see how it feels." Bruv, I probably went down 10% on the pedal, and I'm going 20, 30 miles an hour. I put down 10% on the pedal, fucking fishtail the back end and almost go sideways on the road. Bro, I look at the salesman, he looks at me and he's like, "Yeah, let's go back." It's like, all right. Insane power. So I wouldn't be able to daily the 812, but that would be fucking insane. But I would daily the Evo or I would daily the F8
Quick question
probably.
on the F8. Is that the one that has the big hood and the engine's in the front? The F8? That's the two
No, the
door?
end
What's the one? What's the Ferrari it's the two door, but then it's got the engine in the front?
that's the 812.
That's the 812. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the F8.
So the F8's that's the V8. So it's twin turbo V8.
Mm-hmm.
The 812s are the 12 cylinder and then
Oh, okay.
yeah. And then the SF90 I believe is a 12 cylinder as well. Yeah.
The SF90. That's the Big Daddy, right?
That's a big daddy. Yeah, the SF90s have come down in price incredibly. They used to be going for close to a million, 800 grand, 900 grand. Now it's 600 grand, 500 grand for an SF90. I personally am not a huge fan of the SF90. I mean, they're a banger. Obviously, it'd be cool to have one, but I wouldn't, me personally, that wouldn't be my first choice. So I'm between the A12 Superfast and the F8 in terms of the Ferrari that I would buy.
So when you went to test drive, you went to the Ferrari dealership. Did they mention or did you go to the Ferrari dealership?
So I went to, it's called Luxury Auto Customs. It's where I
Got it.
bought the GT at. And so they're just a exotic
Yeah.
car dealer. So they had an 812.
So what I was gonna ask is but you didn't go to the Ferrari dealership. But I heard there is kind of like a cult like for in Ferrari where they make you start off with a certain starter car, and then you got to hold that for a certain amount of years, and then you could bump up to the next model, and then so on and so forth. So these people that are buying these SF90s, these supercars, they actually they're getting it way before they even get to America. So like they put their pre-orders in before the cars are even shipped in over here. So what is your interpretation on how to get involved with Ferrari like that, as opposed to like if you wanted to buy new versus secondhand, and how do you think like you could get involved? Because I know you do want to get them. How do you think you're going
Yeah,
to get involved and do that?
that's a good question. So I actually went to the Ferrari dealer in the Woodlands near Houston. I actually have this guy's card still. I'll put him on blast. I don't want to show his name. Man, nah. I mean, give him some
Yeah,
business.
give him some.
Yeah, his is business card, official Ferrari dealer. For yeah, the Woodlands. There you go. So that's why I went to go look at an 812 Superfast the second time. And correct. So to be able to get a Ferrari allocation, if you want to buy one brand new, you obviously have to start off at a lower model,
Hmm.
try to see if you can even get an allocation if it's possible, and then they work you up. Same thing with Porsche, same thing, right? Now, so what was the with the Ferrari? So yeah, so when you first start out with Ferrari, is I'm doing the same thing. I'm not gonna get an allocation off the rip, and they're not even producing the 812s anymore. So you have to do certified pre-owned. Okay. Now you don't have to do certified pre-owned. You could go to a luxury, exotic car dealer and buy one offhand, right? But the problem with that is that you don't necessarily know the condition that that Ferrari's in. So if you don't know what to look for, or what are the damages that are possible, or what are the failures that are possible, and you buy one from an exotic car dealer, you don't know what you're doing, you could get completely fucked. And it's not cheap to fix a Ferrari, as you can imagine. Okay. I got into a light fender bender in the GT. All I did is jacked up the front grille. I mean, I was driving around. You couldn't even tell that I hit somebody. Bro, 30 grand just to replace the front bumper and some of the components inside of it. 30 G's. Boom. So think about what it is for a Ferrari to fix anything. Okay. So you want to go certified pre-owned. So on Ferrari's website, this is where I look at the Ferraris. They have a section where they certify them by Ferrari that everything's working well, the mechanics are good, the components are good, the electrical components are fine, and they certified it. Boom, Ferrari official pre-owned, and that's how I would buy it. So I'm gonna through that website, I'll find somebody that has a
Hmm.
certified pre-owned Ferrari, and then I'll go to that dealership and pick it up.
Nice. And
Yeah.
that's a great point, and I want to touch on that super quick. Is the certified pre-owned aspect of cars because you hear about it a lot, but I honestly I didn't know what it meant to be a certified pre-owned for a long time until I started getting back into cars. And pretty much every dealership is going to have their cars come back once they buy them back from a lease, right? Say somebody's lease is up on a GLE after 3 years, they're going to bring it back to the Mercedes dealership. If that person doesn't want to buy it back, Mercedes is going to take it back. They're going to do the state inspection on it. They're going to do the whole Mercedes inspection, tires, brakes, all that kind of stuff. And then once, like Priamo said, like in the Ferrari example, once it's up to Mercedes standards, then it'll be a certified pre-owned. So once Mercedes certifies it as it's a pre-owned vehicle, then it'll go back on the lot as a certified pre-owned. So
Correct.
I think that's, like you said, that's the best way to buy a car. Make sure it's a certified pre-owned because you know it's coming back from the dealership as okay and everything's good. The Carfax is good, all that kind of stuff. But it did take me a while to kind of know what a certified pre-owned was as opposed to just a normal car.
Because I was doing a lot of research on it because, like I was saying, with a car like that, you don't want to pull trigger on a car like a Ferrari and not understand what you're getting yourself into because it's more than just being able to afford the car. Okay, now it's being able to afford the maintenance, the upkeep, fixing something if it breaks, right? It's not cheap. The shit is the price of everything scales with the product that you have. So if you buy a Ferrari, Ferrari is assuming you have Ferrari money. So guess what? That means it's going to cost Ferrari money to be able to fix it, upkeep it, get it serviced, all those different tires, brakes. I mean, on the GT, yeah.
I was just saying,
Go
how
ahead.
much is the oil change on that?
I free. I don't know. I don't even know when I get the Mercedes. Every time I get service, I just say, yeah, do everything that you need to it, and then I just get the bill at the end. Like, all right.
Service A and B.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Who
that's
knows
it.
what they're doing?
I don't know. They're just fucking charging me 3 or 4 bands every time. So I don't know. What the fuck did you guys just do to this thing? You put what, like 100 horsepower in it? Or like, what'd you do? But brakes and rotors for the GT, like 32, 3500, new tires, to replace all the tires, couple racks. I mean, it's way more expensive than just a daily car. And it's funny because the guy that was handling my services in Arizona, I remember he told me this. He gave me the bill for the service I did. I believe at that time it was there I did new brakes and rotors. It was like $3,500. And he hands me the bill and he goes, "All right. I said, all right, boom, bah, drop the fucking Amex on him. Charge it, motherfucker. Charge it twice if you need to. Take some off for yourself too. Get yourself a little tip. You need lunch. You need dinner this weekend with your wife. I got you. Boom, put it on there. So, but then he goes, I didn't react at all. I was just like, all right, that's what it is. He goes, oh, you know what? I like guys like you. You know how to own a car like this. And I said, why? He goes, people come in here all the time and they'll bring their sports cars like this and we'll hand them the bill and they'll go, oh my goodness, it's that much? What? And they'll throw a fit. And he goes, yeah, that's what happens when you buy a $120,000 car. It's gonna be more expensive. He goes, you get it. And I go, yeah, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm fucking 30. Yeah, I bought a banger. That's gonna be expensive. All right, fuck it. Boom. And so, but the point he was making is that people get upset, be surprised, thinking that's going to be more expensive to upkeep a high-end vehicle. Hey, buddy, that's the life that you chose. More money, more problems. You want to be driving around like you're the fucking big dog, like big pimping. All the honeys are looking as you drive by. All the dudes are looking at you like, oh, I wish I was that guy. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more for brakes and rotors, buddy. Relax, okay? If you don't want to, you got to pay to play big pimping.
So Ferrari A12, I think, would be my choice for you.
Yeah, the A12 is a fucking banger. That's such a
But
banger.
I actually I saw you I commented on a a Twitter post yesterday that two guys got killed in a McLaren accident, and that was kind of what sparked the idea for this episode for me was that, and then just looking at cars on the day after that. So some guys crashed their McLaren dead, wrapped around a pole or something in a school zone, nonetheless, right? And my comment on the post was, "This is the worst car to drive if you don't know how to drive," because the amount of power going out of those back wheels, and it's the lightest manufactured supercar. They are super light, so it doesn't take much. A slight breeze from west to east is going to get that car going in a different direction. So, so if you don't know how to drive, those are terrible cars. And it's sad to see someone die like that. But I mean, you got to know what you're getting yourself into when you buy a $250,000 supercar.
That's fucking hilarious. You can't drive McLarens in tornado country in the US. You're fucking, you'll be up in the air in no time. But that is exactly what that streamer, that moron, the Jack,
Yeah,
what's his name?
Jack
Jack,
Jack Doherty.
yeah, Jag Dummy. Um, he fucking banged out his McLaren because he stomped on the gas when it was raining on the highway. Like, yeah, that's McLaren's gonna bang out if you do that. Now, fortunately, him and his buddy didn't die, but he fucked up his buddy. He didn't give a shit. He's like, keep streaming, bro. Like, idiot. But what people don't understand with supercars, that shit, that shit is dangerous.
Hmm.
Okay, it is because the 812 Superfast. I'm telling you, I did not even do nothing, and I was fishtailing. And I said, this is insane. This is crazy. So a McLaren's even worse. Because again, like you said, even lighter,
Hmm.
poorer handling. I've heard people say this about McLaren's. You should have a different type of license to be able to drive that car. It's actually insane how ridiculous it is. And me personally, I don't even really like the look of McLaren's that much outside of the 765 LT. 765 LT, super banger. That I would buy that car, but definitely not as my first supercar. Fuck no, because you kill yourself. I mean, literally, we just talked about those dudes killed themselves. Like, people literally kill themselves in those cars. So it's no joke, bro. Those shits are meant for the track and for people who know how to drive on a track. You can't be driving a McLaren, your first supercar, like a goofy on the regular, on regular civilian roads and expect not to bang out your sports car. So yeah, I wouldn't start out with a McLaren. I mean, I'm not. I'm gonna go with the Ferrari. Will probably be Ferrari or Evo. We'll see.
So actually, there's some news I saw. I believe it was last week. It was the company that owns Alfa Romeo and what was the other car brand that they owned? Lotus, maybe the company. I don't, maybe it was Lotus, but it was definitely the company that owned Alfa Romeo. I forget their name. It was like some space name or something. Um, Stratalink. I don't remember. But anyway, they ended up buying Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and all those American brands. So somebody, one of my buddies asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you think this is a good investment?" And my answer was, if they don't make gay cars, yeah, it might be a good investment.
They say those are some shitter companies. You probably
Yeah.
got it
So,
on a discount.
so if they keep going down the path that those companies like Dodge got rid of the Challenger and the Charger to make some electric car, which is stupid. Like one of the most iconic American cars, a Dodge Challenger, Dodge Charger. They kicked it to the curb to make it an electric car. And so I that was my answer. It was like, yeah, I mean, it could be. Depends on what this company wants to do. I like Alfa Romeo. I've never drove one. I think you have, so that's kind of what sparked it. But
Yeah.
if Alfa Romeo, if this company could bring Jeep back to life, can bring Dodge, Chrysler back to life, I mean, maybe it's a good investment. But the rate they were going on, I don't think so.
Yeah. And here's the thing with car brands, right? So a car brand is all about perception, right? So a car, what car you drive says a lot about yourself as an individual. Now, should it be that way? I'm not saying it should be, but that is the reality of it. The what you drive puts off a certain type of image that you have to other people. So something like a Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, these companies that you had mentioned, people who drive those cars, that's not something that they're necessarily proud to say that they drive, unless it's a Jeep and they got a Wrangler and people are giving the fucking, what do the Jeep people do? I think it's the thumbs
Something
up.
like this.
Okay, dude, gay. So with those cars, right, when you have to distinguish the derivative of the vehicle that you have as opposed to just saying the brand, that's how you know you don't have a luxury brand, right? So even, for example, if somebody says they drive a Bentley, all they have to do is say they drive a Bentley and you know, okay, this guy's a big dog. They don't have to say, oh, I drive a Mulsanne. Oh, I drive a Flying Spur, right? If somebody says they have a Lambo, they say they have a Lambo. They don't go, they don't necessarily go, oh, yeah, I have an Aventador SVJ. Or, yes, I have a Huracan Evo, unless you know what you're talking about with cars, right? They say, oh, yeah, I drive a Lambo. Oh, I drive a Ferrari. That's how you know you have a recognizable brand, a brand that's luxury, a brand that's doing well. If you have to say the derivative of the vehicle that you have, then that means that that brand is not necessarily so strong. So Chrysler, Dodge, if you want to try to say that you drive a really nice Dodge or a really nice Chrysler, you're going to say the derivative of the name. You're not just going to say, oh, yeah, I drive a Dodge. Everybody's going to think, okay, all right. Okay, Dodge, cool. I don't know what even Dodge makes, but okay. So that's the difference between the brands. So the company that made that investment, their goal should be, well, how do we make this brand? How do we change the perception of the brand? Okay, that's really what cars are. Cars are all, it's a car. It's got four wheels, it's got an engine, it fucking drives. Okay. But the importance is the brand, the 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 image that you can create for the individual driving that car is what's going to make them want to buy that car, right? So the question is can they change the image of Chrysler, the image of Dodge?
That's a great point. That's how I think about other luxury goods like watches, right? When people hear, "Oh, I have a Rolex," they're not looking if it's a Daytona or if it's, whatever.
Great point.
So
Great
it's
point.
the same thing in terms of like a watch or clothes, luxury clothes, right? There's a big difference between if you're buying a $500 Louis Vuitton T-shirt versus a Hanes white T-shirt, right? It's just like it's the brand, it's recognizable. But that company, I looked it up, Stella
Hmm.
Antis, I guess. So yeah, they bought them out, and they're gonna. It's a weird. The CEO resigned like 2 days after the buyout. So I guess yeah, they're making some changes. Hope it brings them back out. But I actually have a funny story. I don't know if I ever told you this about Chrysler. So my very first car that I got. This was like as soon as I got my permit. My dad got me. Well, he kind of like had it. Like he had it for a couple months. He had a Chrysler 300, and it was probably like a 2007, 2000, maybe 2006 Chrysler 300, and we put this subsystems in the back of it, and it was two 15-inch subs. So this thing was boom boom, like you couldn't even hear yourself if that thing was cranked up. So one of like because I had my permit, my dad was driving me around in it, and one day we were just on the highway and he was ripping it, like redlining it, bah, bah. And as soon as we turned down the music, turned down the bass, we hear like
The
the
car
engine
clicking.
knocking. He's like, oh no. The bass was so loud, he blew the engine on the highway, and then that was the end of my first car.
Damn, they were bumping Roddy on the freeway and not took out the Chrysler.
Took out the Chrysler that easy, and it was
Damn.
never heard from again. Yep.
There was another time when me and Bobby were we were up at Seven Springs for a ski trip. And I know you remember this. Of course you remember this. Me and Bobby had the new A6. The time was what 2021, so it was a newer A6. We're fucking cruising, big pimping. We had the music pumping. It's nighttime. We're up in the mountains,
Hmm.
and me and Bobby are like, let's go get something to eat. I forget what we were doing. We're just being a couple of idiots. We left the cab. We pumping the A6. We're bam bam. Definitely listen to Roddy. Bro, we're flying. It's pitch black out. We're up in the mountains. We're ripping. Out of nowhere. I don't know who put the curve there, but out of nowhere on a straight road, we're freaking ripping at 60, 70. Curve out of nowhere. Me and Bobby like, ah. Bro, we put the A6 sideways. I don't know what came over me, but I hit the drift perfect.
Uh-huh.
Somehow we didn't go off the road. A6 goes sideways. We're ripping around the bend. Or counter steer, catch it, boom, right down the road again. We were good. Acted like I meant to hit it.
It was
But I don't-
perfect too because on the side of the road there's usually that gravel. So I think it was like we kind of hit that gravel and it just made the drift perfect around the bend. It was like
money,
on the
money.
outside of the.
I had him plant the gravel there beforehand because I knew I was coming around that bend. Bro, we had that shit sideways, but we made it, baby. We made it. We're good.
Professionals.
Yeah, professionals, competent in all realms. We've been competent. That's what I'm saying. We don't make mistakes. Even whenever I should have crashed out, I didn't crash out. I hit the. That was the first time I ever drifted in my life, and I fucking perfect. And then we were back down to fucking going to get our food wherever the
Yeah,
hell we
well, I
were
think we were
doing.
just going to the gas station, grab some quick snacks, and it was just
Yeah,
like literally pulled in sideways.
that's it. That's yeah. Cars are fantastic. Cars are so much fun to drive. I mean, it's that's one of the pleasures in life that once you really start making money, you got to indulge in is a nice whip. And don't be one of these guys. Here's the other thing too. Don't be one of those guys that buys nice things just to try to keep them nice and not use them.
Hmm.
Get out of here with that mindset. If you're gonna buy a nice whip, drive that thing and beat it into the ground. Have fun with it. Drift it. Do burnouts. Just fuck it up. These cars are meant to be driven. The fucking my GT, I ripped that shit. I drifted it all the time. I'm ripping it as quick as I can. It's supposed to be fun. I'm using it. You buy things and own things to be able to use those things and beat those things up. And bro, I smoke cigars in my GT like 3 or 4 times a week, like a gentleman. I got the car ashtray that fits right into the cup holder. Boom. I
Oh,
got my torch in there. Got my cigar cutter. I'll be driving.
do you remember the
Start
old cars
smoking it.
used to actually have the lighters in them? You would press it into the
Yep.
I don't know. It's like the charging port, like the big charging port. And you stick it in there, and then you take it out and be hot, and just put it on the end of the
Yep.
cigar.
GT has it.
Does
It's
it?
a
Does it have
fucking
it?
yeah, yes, cigarette lighter. Yeah, it has it in there. So you press it down and it gets yeah, exactly.
I didn't
Gets it
even
all
know they
hot.
still made cars with those.
Yeah, only gotta have the luxury. See, these guys driving around in Chryslers, they don't got a cigarette lighter in there. Yeah, you gotta have a European luxury sedan if you want a fucking cigar lighter, cigarette lighter. So, but that's what I mean. But think about how other people would be if they buy an expensive, you know, Rolls Royce or Mercedes, something that they think is very nice. They're gonna be, I don't want to, I don't bring any drinks in here. Don't you know they're gonna be pissing their pants if anything gets into the car. I'm over here, I'm ashes falling on my fucking lap. I'm fucking smoking a cigar. I'm bumping little TJ album. Yeah,
Pellegrino splashing on you.
oh, bro, I got a Pellegrino bottle dedicated to the whip. Boom. So I get into the whip, Pellegrino. But that's how you live life. That's why you make money is to enjoy it, to enjoy the things that you have. Relax, dude. Smoke a cigar in your car. If you're a gentleman, you want to have a cigar while you're driving, you own the car, go for it. Don't be the guy that's a stickler over everything.
With that being said, too, my goal, just have the cars like for me, I would say like keep your GT forever, right? It's
Yeah.
like a memory thing almost. Like I wish I could still have the Infinity. We had so many memories in that car. So like
The
when we
Infinity.
are 50 and 60, we could have this collection of cars in the garage. Like, yep, there's my first car, there's my first GT, and then there's the first supercar. They're like, there they all are. It's like a memory lined up. And then like if you keep them, if you upkeep them, like you said, paying money to have the engine done right and paying to get the brakes and new tires, you could actually have them for a long time. And then when you are 56 years old, you have a collection, and it's not just a thing to have fun in. It's like, look at this timepiece of my life of like I drove across the country in the GT, moved from Arizona to here. It's just like, and then it unlocks those memories for you and the things that we're talking about.
Hmm. I agree. Yeah, I decided when I buy the next car, I'm not selling the GT. I mean, why would I? Plus, it's a four seater. The Evo or the 812 would be a
Cool.
coupe, so I still want the four seater. And the thing is too with the Mercedes is the upkeep is expensive, but people think these cars break often and they're very expensive to upkeep, and there's a lot of problems with them. Knock on wood, I've had zero issues with the Mercedes because I upkeep it the way that you're supposed to. That's the thing. People want to try to shortcut and be cheap about their cars and their things that, oh, I don't want to take it yet, or I don't want to get serviced yet, or oh, don't change the tires yet. No, as soon as, right, if I'm at the dealership, they can sucker me into anything. Yeah, they're like, you could get new tires. All right, new tires. The brakes could do it. Do it. Go ahead. Everything. Boom. Change it. Fix it. Boom, boom, boom. Because now I have the confidence that whenever I'm driving it, number one, I'm safe because I have the car upkept. And two, it doesn't break because I get it serviced exactly when I'm supposed to get it serviced, and I have them do everything that they're supposed to do. I'm not going to shortcut it. And that's what happens. People shortcut things. This is, incredible lesson for all of life. People want a shortcut. People want the easy way. People want to just skate by without doing it completely right the first time. And that's whenever they run into all these problems, mechanical issues. Well, yeah, because you shortcutted it. You didn't take care of the car the way that you're supposed to. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, these German engineers, they know what they're doing. Okay, they're not idiots. They're not building pieces of shit. If your foreign car is breaking down all the time, it's because you're not taking care of it the way that you're supposed to take care of it because you're being a cheap fuck. You shouldn't have bought the car in the first place then, right?
And you could see it because there is cars like I see sometimes some classic Mercedes roll through in early 2000s, a late 90s one that somebody has upkept, kept it in kept it in mint condition, getting the oil changed, and then they come driving down the street and you're like, "Oh, damn, look at that thing. That thing's old." And that's like kind of the mindset I'm trying to build into myself for cars. It's like, okay, it's not just about getting a car to take you to point A to point B. This is like a timepiece. Like when you get this, it's a memory box that you could drive down the road, and you have so much you could think about. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of keeping cars forever, building a collection. So that's my goal.
Hmm. Yeah, no, the gentlemen are gonna be popping out some nice vehicles very soon. Ollie just put in the chat. He said F8, 812, or Eco. Oh, he probably means Evo. I was
Evo.
gonna say Eco. I ain't driving no electric shit. The hell? Or Evo after Q1. So that's a great question, Ollie. But because it is between all three of those, it's either the F8, 812, or Evo. So we'll see. The Huracan Evo would be the most capable to be daily driven because Lamborghinis are owned and made by Audi now. So Audi has made them a lot more reliable. They break down less. They're a lot better for being a daily driver. The issue with an 812 and 8 and an F8 is that, well, it's not the issue of it, it's just what comes with the territory is they are completely 100% Ferrari made, but they're going to break down, they're going to have not break down, they're going to have a lot more issues more often than an Evo would if I'm beating the shit out of them.
Hmm.
So that would be the only difference between the two on whether or not I would go one or the other. But I'm not going to look at it that way. I'm not going to look at it as, oh, I can only daily this car, so I'm going to have to go with the Evo because the F8 might be in the shop. Well, if I still have the GT, I'm good. So that's why it's not really going into my decision making process. So we'll see. We'll see. But we will have one by the end of Q1 Ollie. And there's a reason for that. Because if you're inside the Taylor's code, you know why Q1, Q2 is a very important time for next year. If you've been following the live streams, but we're not going to tell you on YouTube because that's what you pay for inside the Taylor's code is to know when to cash out on crypto.
Yeah. So this is if you guys are watching, And you thought we were just about crypto and e-commerce, just to show you that we're well versed in plenty of realms, the ultimate professionals. That's why we had to jump on here to talk about cars. We
Yeah.
honestly have a lot more in-depth knowledge of how things work from an engine exhaust perspective, but so that's some boring stuff to talk about. Today we'll talk about the glitz and the glamour of an Evo and a Ferrari. So we'll we'll keep talking about this stuff. As things come up. I think maybe as big news is dropped and new cars drop, we'll continue to touch on cars. But I thought it was just a good episode just to break up from the crypto talk since markets are kind of down. It's a bummer. Who wants to talk about the markets when they're down? We'll talk about them when they're up next week. But
Land Wolf still in price discovery. That motherfucker ripping. So, but no, it was a great episode. I think we should do another one on watches as well. Let's see what this dude just said.
the Automobile.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing I'm gonna be grabbing next year. I'm gonna grab the AP Royal Oak.
Ooh, with the Royal
Throw the
Oak. I don't think I've
throw
seen
the
that one.
Royal. Oh, we'll show it on next stream. The Royal Oak is classy. But yeah, we should talk about watches next week. Let the gentleman know a little bit about the watch game. A little bit of the yeah, because you need these things as a gentleman. You got to have your timepiece. You got to have your car. You got to have the house, and then you got to have your social skills to be able to famoose and finesse and finagle the females. So
Like
it's
we
all part of
said with
being a
the
gentleman.
cars, there's levels to it, and definitely with the watches, there's levels to it. So I actually have a picture saved somewhere of the hierarchy of luxury watches. It like starts off basic, level two, three, four, and then there was like the top level was ones I never even heard of. It was like there was Audemars Piguet, but then there was other ones with it. I was like, I don't even know what those are. So
I bet you some Jacob and Co's on there. Probably some.
it had every brand you could think of in this tree.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah, that's how. Yeah, the Rolex was the first one I bought, and then the AP would be the next level up, and then you got then you have what's the other one? Richard Mille. I don't fuck with Richard Mille. I don't. I
Nah,
think those are kind of
they look cheap to me.
yeah. No, they do look cheap, but that's the whole gag is that it's a it's just a gag, you know. It's the brand that they built, but the Richard Mille. I'm not. That's not me. APs though, I hear Patek,
Hmm.
fire classy. But the Royal Oak, you gotta look the Royal Oak up. That one's classy. Well, I think outside of that, we're good to go, right? You got
Yeah.
anything else?
No, that's all I had for today. Make sure to subscribe, like the stream
Yes.
if you guys are here, if you made it to the end of the video. Make sure if you guys are watching all the streams that and you're subscribed to go to the link in our bios too. Check out the Taylor's Code. We've had an influx of new members over the past week, so people are getting involved. People are looking at the crypto plays. They're looking at all different stuff. So make sure to get involved, become part of the community where we talk on the daily, be part of our daily group chat where we talk about crypto plays, things that we're doing, cars we're buying, stuff like that. So make sure to get involved.
Absolutely. Right now, just so you guys understand, there's 380 people inside of the organization, and we've only been around for a few months. Okay. When we hit 400 members, the membership is going to go from $25 up to $50 a month. Okay. Every single time we've hit 100 new members, we raise and double the membership cost. Here's the thing, when you get in at a lower membership cost, you're grandfathered into that for life, just so you understand that. So when you get in, because 20 people is going to be done by the end of this week, get in at $25 a month and you're going to be there even whenever we're at $300 a month in a year. Okay. Because it is going to happen. The momentum's been picking up. People are getting value. People are making a ton of money off of crypto. People are making money with you off of e-commerce. I mean, the organization works. Obviously, it's growing. So you don't want to just show up late whenever it's triple, quadruple, 5x the price just because you're hesitant on $25. So join within the next 20 people right now so you can get in at 25 before it goes up to 50. And like, comment, subscribe on the stream. That's the last thing I'll mention too. Like the stream, gentlemen. We're coming on here giving you free juice every single week, multiple times a week. Show some love, show some support. If you were here, you were listening. I'm sure it wasn't because you hated us. I'm sure it wasn't because you thought the content was dog shit. Otherwise, you'd be wasting your time. So if you're here, we appreciate you guys being here, but we really appreciate you liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel to help the organization grow. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. The larger that the group grows, the larger that the network becomes, the more competitive, the more the more profit, the more money we're going to be able to make. Because when you have the right crew, you have the right community, we can grow and build things just based off of our own willpower. Okay. So once we're thousands of people large, think about the influence we're going to have in the markets. Think about the influence we're going to have in the world. Think about the influence we're going to be able to have with just in political and financial realms everywhere. But that's based off of growth. So help yourself by helping us grow because the community is yours too. So if you're part of the organization, this is your community too. So
100%. It's
that's what I have.
it's impossible to do something by yourself solo in today's age. You need a team to back you, to help you, to tell you when your ideas aren't as good or when your ideas could be better. So that's what we're trying to build here. So if you guys want to be part of the community, part of the team, you know where to go. Check out the link in the bio.